Hello, my name is Ahmad Riefhan bin Roslah, and my matrix number is 280511. I'm from Group 5, and I will present about introduction. Okay, firstly, what is agriculture development? Agriculture development is defined as the process that creates the conditions for the fulfillment of agriculture potential. Those conditions include the accumulation of knowledge and availability of technology, as well as the allocation of inputs and output. Okay. Agriculture presents in early development. First of all, it was supported by two essential properties of agriculture throughout the early phases of development. First, agriculture generates items that directly meet fundamental human requirements. Second, agriculture production coordinates human work with regular assets like land and agroecological resources. Early improvement scholars accepted that agriculture could flourish autonomously of other monetary exercises, since regular assets should be unreserved accessible. However, agriculture's reliance on a set amount of land means that its expansion was limited. This mean that with a particular technology, agricultural output could not rise proportionately to increase worker supply. By that, agribusiness experience unavoidable losses on the demand side. The requirement to provide fundamental necessities suggests that agricultural expansion must at very last much population increase in order to escape the malnutrition trap and stagnating development. Next. Okay, this is 5 general models of agricultural development. First is the frontier model. Second, the conservation model. Third, the urban industrial impact model. Fourth, the diffusion model. And the fifth, the high payoff input model. Next.
Now we will move on to the background of these studies. Animals raised primarily for the production of commodities are referred to as livestock. It is a vital aspect of one of the country's whole agricultural development businesses, since it provides the primary source of protein for the Malaysian population. It provides lucrative employment, supplies the domestic requirement of meat, milk and dairy products to the population. Therefore, livestock sector contributes to economic development by generating income and employment for livestock keepers. Table 1 shows the livestock population in Malaysia based on the livestock statistic by Selected Agricultural Indicators 2021. As shown in graph 1, the GDP increased from 2016 to 2020. Looking at the livestock subsectors, the number of livestock has been increasing except for buffaloes, sheep and swine, despite the increase in animal population. The lack of demand by restaurants, diners and hotels that were not functioning or had restriction in operation due to the COVID-19 pandemic that began in early 2020 was also related to the fall in several goods. The ruminant sub-expansion sector has been hampered by the low productivity of indigenous breeds, high investment costs for pasture improvement, and competition from crop production. Following the growth in population and consumption, livestock production is still inadequate to fulfill demand in Malaysia.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Sufiah Binti Yusoff, matric number 280375. We present with my friends Haris a few issues of livestock sector in Malaysia from 2016 to 2020. This issue are self-sufficiency ratio (SSR), second, production and consumption. Third issue is livestock trade. Self-sufficiency ratio. Currently, the ruminant sector, which consists of beef and dairy cattle, dairy buffaloes, sheep and goats, is still raised on a small scale. Thus, Malaysia imports most of the needed beef, mutton and dairy products from abroad, especially in India, Australia and New Zealand, to cater for inadequacy. In general, self-sufficiency ratio level (SSL) refers to a person's ability to meet his own needs without relying on others. SSL refers to the ability of local output to meet demands from localist consumers, and it is measured in percentage in Malaysia livestock business. Based on self-sufficiency ratio data of Malaysia in 2016 to 2020, the SSL of this selected livestock may improve from 2016 to 2019, but have been declined in 2020 because of the pandemic COVID-19. Cattle, sheep, buffalo, goats and deers are examples of livestock that fall into the ruminants category. Ruminants are a small-scale subsector that is mostly produced by smallholder farmers. However, ruminant self-sufficiency remains below 30% due to high demand than supply from local growers. Malaysia must raise livestock production by at least 50% to suit local market demands. The subsector has reached a commercial scale with large domestic producers and integrators are poultry and pigs, which are domination local livestock with nearly 100% of SSR and are internationally competitive for export, reducing the balance of trade for food commodities at the same time. The main cause of these issues is the animal feed costs account for more than a quarter of the overall cost of production. The cost of animal feeds contributes between 5.4% to 19.3% to the overall cost of production for cattle, 22.9% to 31.6% for goods, and 58.9% to 71.2% for poultry. Besides that, the land formerly located by the government for use by farmers to rear ruminants in the ruminant subsector are grazing reserves. Farmers may also switch their livestock operations from ruminant to poultry meat productions, which offers a higher return on investment. Non-ruminant subsectors such as poultry, broilers, and eggs and pork, on the other hand, have been developed of production capacity and technology. It has attained a high level of self-reliance.
Hello, Assalamualaikum. My name is Ruzaini bin Hasbullah. My metric number is 280332. Today I'm going to presenting the second issue, which is the production and consumption. The following is the differences between consumption, production, and I add on with the distribution. Distribution is an economic activity which involves the distribution of incomes across various factors of production and the output of goods and services that is produced for consumers. Consumers is the process of using goods or services by deriving utility from it and thereby satisfying our wants. And the last one is production, is an activity that undertaken where raw materials are converted into a finished good with the use of factors of production such as land, labor, and others. So for the next slide, we're going to talk about the number of livestock by type in Malaysia from 2016 to 2020. When compared to the Malaysian total livestock, Malaysia livestock's animals are quite significant. In the period between 2016 and 2020, the average quantity of livestock by type has like 7 types, which is buffalo, cow, goat, sheep, swine, chicken, and duck. Quantity of livestock of chicken had approximately 289 million just in 2016. Meanwhile, the quantity of buffalo only had around 190,000 in 2016. The average per capita consumption for Malaysia from 2016 to 2020 is 21.66% for chicken meat and 5.64% for buffalo. Now that Malaysia has reached the level of self-sufficiency, it is able to export chicken meat and others to its traditional market, which is Singapore. So we're going to move on to the next table, which is table 10, the number of livestock by type and state in Malaysia in 2020. 20. We can clearly see that quantity of livestock of chicken in Johor surpassed others third in terms of production, which is 62 million of number. Why Johor had the most number of livestock of chicken? Because the worker shortage of other states, while Johor workers have been looking a lot in working. Johor can produce almost 1.4 million chicken meat in a day, which is around 60% of production have been going well. Despite Johor had a lot of livestock of chicken in 2020, Johor can compare the production livestock of duck in Perak, that Perak had almost 6 million of number. This activity occurs like this is because of costly feed of duck is actually expensive rather than chicken. Johor have almost 70% production of chickens, livestock, so it is reasonable for other states to take over the livestock of other type of livestock. So we move on to the percentage of per capita consumption of selected livestock in Malaysia from 2016 to 2020. As you can see, the livestock products, which is the poultry meat, have a lot like 50% from 2016 to 2020, and it's been average from that percentage. And the least livestock is mutton. As you can see, the color yellow, it's only had like lower than 1.3% from 2016 to 2020. And for others, as you can see, for chicken, it's average to 21% from 2016 to 2020. As for pork, you can see it has average of 16% from 2016 to 2020. And for the last one, we have beef. We got it's got average of 5 to 6% from 2016 to 2020. And one more, we had fresh milk. It only got like below 2.1% average from 2016 to 2020. So that's all from me. Thank you.
The third issue is livestock trade. Malaysia's livestock exports are small in comparison to its imports. Malaysia has reached self-sufficiency in poultry meats and pork, with an average SSR nearly 100% from 2016 to 2020, and is able to export it to its traditional market of Singapore. Despite the fact that Malaysia has achieved SSR in poultry meats, but it still imports poultry at a rate of roughly 4.1% on average. However, in terms of beef and mutton, Malaysia relies heavily on imports. From 2016 to 2020, Malaysia import with 77.6% of an import dependency ratio (IDR) yearly. In comparison, on other meats, beef is the most important. It is because of the lower price compared to the local price, as well as the great demand from Malaysia consumers. Mutton import has also been substantial, averaging roughly IDR 88.6% every year. This is due to the fact that Malaysian Muslims celebrate Eid Mubarak. Typically, the day begins with 8 prayers at the mosque, followed by a ceremony in which livestock, primarily goats and cattle, are slaughtered as a symbol of sacrifice to Allah. The meat is given to the destitute and needs. The Livestock Research and Development Program was created with the purpose of assisting in the production of high-quality animals and healthful food products at a reasonable cost. Due to rapid industrialization, land resources are becoming increasingly scarce. The fact of R&D is on maximizing land use efficiency while maintaining a healthy relationship with Mother Nature. An integrated production system with plantation crops is recommended for ruminant animals to maximize the resource utilization.
Hello, my name is Mohammad Rafif bin Mahdi and I would like to present about policy implication and conclusion. Policy implication is to increase the efficiency of the ruminants. Livestock efficiency can be expressed in reference to general production efficiency or feed efficiency. General efficiency means we can increase output by using the same amount of input. It also refers to lifetime production strategies which aim to improve herd health to reduce death loss. Feed efficiency was measured on a feed conversion ratio or gross feed efficiency basis. Foods that contain adequate nutrients can improve the accuracy of efficiency measures. Okay, next, policy implication is to increase the production of animal feeds. Our country imports animal feeds from abroad. This is because the production of inputs such as corn is insufficient in the country. So most of entrepreneurs could not afford the cost of the food and they switch to the other market. So to overcome this problem, the country needs to increase animal feeds production. Maybe our country can use agriculture waste and waste from kitchen as raw material, such as for poultry feeds. Um, Next, policy implication is also towards a free disease nation. Production in a country will be limited in the event of the spread of animal-borne disease such as foot and mouth disease (FMD), influenza, and others. When the disease spread, it will take a long time to recover as usual. Therefore, the government needs to take effective measures to prevent endemics in our country in order to increase livestock productivity. Mm, for example, there is a disease that attack the brain of animals due to contamination of foods. Then the animal become aggressive and they die. So for conclusion, based on the study that has been conducted, the government need to focus more on the production of livestock so that productivity can increase and it in turn meets the demand of the people of Malaysia, especially when there are many crises like now. Based on study also, the government should also give emphasis to mutton as it is also the lowest self-sufficiency ratio level. In addition, poultry, meats, pork, fresh milk, beef and also taken into consideration because this sector have not yet passed the self-sufficiency ratio level. We also suggest that all parties, whether government or private, can attract more young people, especially to venture into this field of animal husbandry. Thank you from us. Thank you, madam.